There's my boy in the bucket in the backyard under the sun. He's got his head down looking in the water just to see what he'll find. It won't take too long till he's up to search for somebody else. I'm gonna pay close attention to the moments just to see for myself. I'm not waiting for the time to be right. I'm gonna give that boy my life like I wanted for myself. I can't go back to where I've never been. There's always a choice, I'm choosing them. I'm so happy with my baby boy, and my wife, she brings me love and joy. I'm so grateful. Grateful, I am so grateful, grateful. There's a woman in my bed with a past that I recognize. It's not mine, but I know where she's been, and I realize together for a reason, and I just can't run away like I did in the past. Now I'm ready to stay. I'm not waiting for the time to be right. I'm gonna give that girl my life like I wanted for myself. I can't go back to where I've never been, bless you. There's always a choice, I'm choosing them. I'm so happy with my baby boy, and my wife, she brings me love and joy. I'm so grateful, grateful, I am so grateful, grateful, I am so grateful, grateful, I am so my step and light on my face. I am so grateful, grateful, I am so grateful, grateful, I am so grateful. Come on, grateful, I am so grateful, grateful. Don't you feel a little grateful? So that's a song about my family. And on my There's a Healing Going On album, you open it up, and under the CD, because it made CDs at the time, is my son in the bucket looking down. The bucket, he fit in a bucket. He doesn't fit in a bucket. I don't think his foot would fit in a bucket anymore. But I'm grateful, so grateful to Skip that he asked me to cover these 3 weeks, and you got me by myself the first week, and then last week we had Heather Grace Powers, and this week we have my beloved, and I could tell you all the things that she's done in her life, and she's got 3 masters. Let's just start there. The first one that she did was at the Carnegie Mellon, a master's in piano performance. And then she got her master's in spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica. And then she got another master's at Agape for her ministerial license. And she did a, what was the thing you did with Shefali? What was that called? No, the Luminous. For about 5 or 6 years, you did that with Shefali Tsabari, who wrote The Conscious Parent. And then she wrote a book and became a minister and just became the president of the board at Agape. Other than that, not much going on. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am a much better man as a result of meeting Suzi and becoming really good friends first. And then when we got together, we actually got together as prayer partners, is how we started dating. We started doing a 30-day prayer devotional. In the middle of it, we realized something more was going on. And we didn't tell anybody at Agape, because we know, for those of us that have been Agape, you don't tell anybody about the relationship until it's like solid. But I am just so honored and grateful that you are here with us in North Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Suzi Lula.
Thank you, guys. I'm just so happy to get to be with you all. So I just want to take a moment and just have all of us just look around, and I just want to see your beautiful faces, your beautiful hearts, and very grateful to be here, especially in a community that would have us sit in a circle, because I think there's so much polarization happening right now on planet Earth, and I think one of the things that we can all agree on is that there is a need for more circles. And so I particularly love that you guys chose to create on these Wednesday evenings a circle. And I think that that is very representative of this community. And so I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful to get to speak on the Divine Feminine. We are in the midst, or the end actually, of Women's History Month. And when I think of the Divine Feminine, I personally can't help but think of the Divine Feminine with the Divine Masculine, because I feel that one without the other is like the yin without the yang. And so in my way today of speaking a little bit about the Divine Feminine, I just invite us all to recognize that there is a feminine aspect within each one of us, and there is a masculine aspect within each one of us. And as we've seen in culture and society, when one aspect of society is suppressed, in our case, at least in this country, many others, the feminine aspect of society as a whole has been suppressed. What happens is that actually is such a disservice to the masculine. Because what's happened is that it forces then the masculine aspect of society to become overworking and over-responsible and over-producing and over-efforting. And so then the divine masculine ends up getting a really bad rap. And you hear a lot about toxic masculinity, toxic patriarchy. And I think that when we look within ourselves and our own beings, and we recognize within each one of us, there's a feminine aspect, there's a masculine aspect, the same with society. There's a masculine aspect, of society. There's a feminine aspect of society. When we think globally, we think of the feminine aspects being somewhat absent. When you think about what's happening with, let's just say, any of the wars that are going on Earth right now, it's a result of the lack of circles, the lack of feminine ability to sit and simply be and be present before we act, before we take action, before we need to outpower someone else. To have the presence and the ability and the capacity and the interest and the permission to sit at a table and talk to someone else that may have radically different ideas than we have. That is an aspect of the feminine. You know, you think of Mother Earth and you think of a mom that has 6 kids. A mother loves all of her children the same. Mother Earth loves every country the same. Mother Earth loves every individual on planet Earth the same. There are no favorites. And the feminine, being that mother, that mother energy, she loves all countries, all individuals, and she has the capacity to sit endlessly at a table and talk to an individual that may have been raised radically, dramatically different. If and when we begin to include the feminine on the global scale, then we're going to assist the masculine not to have to so overwork and overexert. And we're going to bring this globe into a homeostasis and into the homeostasis that is meant for us. So that's kind of a big picture. But when we think about each one of us individually, that's what I would like to work with a little bit, excuse me, this evening. If as I'm speaking, you can explore your own interior a little bit, because each one of us, although we do have masculine and feminine within each one of us, we have been taught and trained in different ways to lean more into one side than the other. And that is not a gender thing. It doesn't mean that women lean more into the feminine. I know lots of women, myself included, that are very comfortable in the masculine doing. And I would submit that many women on the planet have been indoctrinated and culturalized to feel very comfortable in the doing. And so we want to look within and see, do I lean more to the feminine? Do I lean more to the masculine? And how is it through this evening and what we share and talk about, might I leave here tonight with some ideas about how to bring my own interior life and my own external life into more homeostasis, into a little bit more balanced. So when I think of the great wisdom teachers on earth, when I think of the Dalai Lama, or I think of someone like Thich Nhat Hanh, or I think of someone like Jesus the Christ, these wisdom teachers seem to have that balance of masculine and feminine. They're deep thinkers, they're soulful beings, they're connected to their wisdom, their loving kindness, their compassion, their endless capacity for being. You know, there is that saying to he or she who can most perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible. So just think about that. To he or she who can most perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible, because it is in the sitting and in the being that we have the ability to connect and contact that presence that is greater and transcendent than our own individual lives. So when I think of a wisdom teacher like Jesus the Christ, I think of this balance between the feminine and the masculine. One of the teachings that we all probably know, excuse me, from Jesus is seek ye first the kingdom of God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all things will be added unto you. So Jesus teaches us to seek first the interior. Seek first that divine, holy, sacred connection that is so intimate to you and to you and to me and to you. It's so intimate that if I begin to articulate it and describe what my inner relationship is with God, it might seem so different from yours. It's so universal, and yet it's so individualistic. And you might not call it God, you could call it spirit, source, love, whatever you seek to call it, infinite presence. There is a relationship that is beckoning us. You know, Jesus also said, go into your closet and pray in secret. And I think for me, that is one of the ultimate practices of the feminine, is that the feminine part of us isn't the part that needs to walk in a room and let everybody know that we're here. And if we're having, let's say, a dinner party, doesn't need to be doing all things for all people all the time. The feminine, the real feminine, is the aspect within us, male or female, trans, fluid, however you identify yourself. The feminine within us is the part that is so utterly comfortable being still. It's just a comfort. I'm sure you all can imagine individuals who walk into a room and they haven't even said anything, and there's something so utterly attractive about that individual. There's something that just compels you to that individual. That is an individual that is really comfortable in their own skin. That is really just comfortable in their own skin. I think of your sharing, and you're just laughed at your keys being in the trunk. You know, and I actually was talking to Michael Beckwith the other day about this very thing, and we were saying that when one can rise high enough onto a mountaintop to look down and see, in your case, see that you locked your keys in your trunk, one will smile always, because there just isn't anything great enough to get our panties in a wad, you know? There just isn't when you're high enough on a mountaintop. And the divine feminine that would be the one, especially in our culture, when we're taught, you know, achieve and succeed and accumulate, the more wealth and the more success and the more master's degrees and the more all the things one has, that is what we're taught to aspire towards, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But when I think about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, I think of them as dance partners. I think that inside of ourselves, we have these two components, and at their best, they're meant to be dance partners. And so inside, when we are perhaps trained to think that is the doing that is important, and we would take a little bit of time and question that, and question that it is not the doing that is important or not important, it is the place that the doing is coming from. So if we have not taken the time to go into our closet and pray in secret, often what happens is we are on a treadmill to accumulate or do in the external, and we are unconsciously, we're not consciously thinking this, but unconsciously it's because we are trying to get something from the outside that we have not given ourselves permission to slow down in a society that tells us, do not slow down. Do not slow down for any reason, under any circumstances. Do not slow down until you're retired. Then you can slow down and do nothing. It's just an invitation to question, is that the way that we are actually wired? When you look at nature, you'll never see summer, fall, spring. It will never happen. Nature always has a winter. It always has that time that's quiet, that goes within. There's so much happening under the soil in winter so that spring can happen. So winter is the feminine, spring is the masculine. But you'll never have a spring without a winter. You'll never have a day without the night before. because the day needs the night before to rest. You'll never have day and then another day. Nature sets it up so perfectly. And so when we look to nature, we will question, it isn't that we're not meant to be doing and achieving, it's that we are first meant to pray in the closet, in secret. We're meant to take time away from the doing and get very clear inside on our being, on who it is that we are here to be. Each one of our souls have come here with certain attributes, and no two of us could dare even remotely be the same. And so there's something so unique about each one of us, and it takes daily contemplation. It takes daily contemplation to meet yourself again and again and again, because you're not the same individual as you were yesterday, the same individual as you were last week. And I keep going back, I just love that, your story, because it may be not the same individual you were 5 years ago. Maybe you would have gotten upset, you know? And so it's important to contemplate, who am I today? Who am I at this stage of my life, in this chapter of my life? What is important to me? What is valuable to me? What is my essence seeking to express? And you were sharing about singing and making your first music video. This is who you are at this stage in your life, in this chapter of your life. And if you don't say yes to that, the world doesn't get you. But it takes the feminine stillness to feel those whispers and those promptings of our soul. And then Jesus said, so he said, seek ye first the kingdom. He said, go into the closet and pray in secret. And then the other thing that I think is so important about Jesus and how he represents the dance between the divine masculine and the feminine is that Jesus also went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Another way that he was bold enough to unplug from the external world, and he went into the desert and he really grappled with his soul. He grappled with his soul, he grappled with the God of his understanding. He said, why hast thou forsaken me? He was such a master teacher, a master modeler, that we are not here to simply ingest what culture or social media is saying to us. You know, Gail and I were talking before we started about some of the things that we've seen on social media that are meaning to be good for us, but we're inundated with what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do this, don't do this, turn right, don't turn right, turn left, stand still, keep going. We're inundated from the outside in. And so to those of us who will have the courage to challenge that we're not meant to be eternal, consistent, constant doers without first taking some time to grapple. I call them knots in consciousness. It's like there are certain things that get placed on your lap. It could be a health diagnosis. It could be you're moving through something with your relationship with your own body, with your relationship with a partner, with a friend, with a child, with an in-law, with your finance. Life will place in our laps what is here for us to untangle and unravel, and that is the feminine. And we are often taught in our culture not to take the time to be present with those knots because they can be uncomfortable and feel painful. And so what are we taught? We're taught to just go overachieve, be over-responsible, overachieve, overdo. And this is, to me, a detriment both to the feminine, but certainly to the masculine. I'm talking women, men. It's a detriment because it doesn't also give men permission in our culture to be still and to really come into an internal connection and groundedness with what is true power. True power is not outpowering someone else. True power comes from the center of our being. Again, when someone walks into a room and you feel that they are powerful, you can just feel when someone is truly powerful, they are not necessarily the loudest person in the room. You know, my dad is for sure one of the most powerful individuals that I've ever met. And I would say, the phrase that I would say about my dad is still waters run deep. He's not the person that is necessarily the loudest in the room, but he's for sure, if you want some wisdom, he's for sure that person. And so real power comes from the individuals who have the courage, and it is very courageous, I believe, in our culture and our society to take the time to be still. Be still and know that I am God. It takes courage because we aren't given that permission every day. You don't see on the news, at the end of the news, and by the way, everyone, go take your time and be still. We're not going to get the external permission, and so it's in circles like this, it's in like-minded communities that we make these inner agreements with ourselves and we make these agreements with each other. That this week, I'm not going to power through this week. This week, I'm going to take some time, and I'm going to take an extra 10 minutes and go walk in the park near your house. Or you're going to take some time and simply listen to a piece of music that might take you from your mind into your heart. You're going to take extra time to do some journaling. And then, my friends, to me, what Jesus then said is that this and greater shall you do. Now, the doing is the masculine. So once you have taken this time, and you know, our son is in college, and he was on spring break, and he said, you know, I just want to go to the art store. I just feel like going to the art store and getting some colors, and he's just been doing art all week, just taking that time. And I felt so proud of him as an achiever that he is, and he loves doing well. But I felt so good for his soul that he was taking some time and putting some colors on a piece of paper. And I know that when we take the time to do that, and Jesus says, then this and greater shall you do, Jesus, because he was so inwardly connected, he was so connected to his own gifts that he was then able, that is why he was able to say to a lame man, take up thy bed and walk, because he was so connected to that feminine part that was connected to the God essence in him, his essence. He was clear about his essence. And that is what enabled him to say, what I'm doing, I'm able to look at a lame man that cannot walk, and I have the ability to say to him, take up thy bed and walk, and this man will stand up and walk. It is because he has spent so much time in the feminine, knowing exactly who he is. He knows his identity. He knows his gifts. He knows his contributions. He's taken the time to be in that desert consciousness, to grapple and to unify his consciousness and to find that inner flow. And when you find your inner flow, the thing about the masculine is, once you find your inner flow, you just can't contain it. It just comes. It just comes. And I just feel like it would be such a gift to, and I'll say masculine meaning men, I feel like it would be, you had said earlier, you know, every day should be Women's Day and Mother's Day, but I think also every day should be Men's Day, and we should celebrate men, because when we give ourselves permission to honor and value the feminine stillness, then we're doing such a favor to all the men in the world, because we're allowing them to relax and not have to effort to compensate for what we're not doing. Does that make sense to you? I think it's such a gift. I think it's such a gift to all the men in the world. So I look at it as kind of a responsibility. And I know that when you get in touch with your gifts inside, and you're very clear, you said it also earlier, not from an arrogant way, not from a way of walking in and saying, oh, I'm all that. It's an inner knowing that I'm all that. It's an inner knowing. And when you have that inner knowing, you know what? You don't have to do anything. You can't keep it in. You just can't keep it in. It's why you have to sing. You can't keep it in. Anytime Jamie says, oh, maybe I should go do something else, I'm like, no, you were born to sing. You were born to sing. You have to sing, you know? And so the last thing that Jesus said that I think illustrates the dance between the feminine and the masculine is don't hide your light under a bushel. And when we get very clear on the chapter of our life that we are in now and the meaning that this chapter has for you and the commitment and the dedication to say, okay, I see what this chapter is calling forth from within me, and I'm willing to be true to that calling. When you connect with this chapter, and by chapter, it could mean this week, it could mean this month, it could mean this year, it could be this time period. When you get clear on what this period of your life is calling forth from within you, and you are then true to that calling, you can't hide your light under a bushel. Your light will precede you. Everyone will see your light before you even walk into the room. So the divine masculine is actually effortless, because when you know who you are and then you kind of hand it over to the masculine part of you, and then you go out, quote, into the world to make your music video or do the thing that you are being called to do, you become part of a flow, and it is truly effortless. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have to take actions that are courageous and brave for us and stretch and grow. We're all here to stretch and grow. But it absolutely, unequivocally, when you have that prompting and you commit to being true to the prompting of your heart, be true to the prompting of the soul in the chapter that you are in right now, the entire universe rushes to meet you, and it rushes to place in front of you all of the synchronicities, all of the right individuals. You'll meet the right person at the right time when you were least expecting it. That person will call you, you least expected it. Someone will take you somewhere and introduce you to somewhere else. Your neighbor will show up right here in the circle. Like something will happen that you could not have scripted, that you could not have anticipated, that you could not have asked for. And it will be something that is beyond anything that you could ever imagine. So shall we pray on that? So as we move into a moment of prayer, just become available in your own heart to ask yourself, am I leaning more to the masculine? Am I leaning more to the feminine? Might I need some more stillness? Might I need some more walks in the park? Might I need some more music? What is calling you? And when you become aware of what it is that is calling you, make an agreement with yourself. I see you, I hear you. I want to be true to you. I intend to be true to you. Thank you. Thank you for making me aware that this is the calling upon my heart. This is the calling upon my soul in this chapter of my life. I intend to be true to you. And so it is from this place of an inner agreement between these aspects of ourselves that I am certain that each one and all of us here are surrounded by a universal presence of love that is so supportive of that which is calling us. There is a universal presence, a universal energy. It is pure, it is perfect, unconditioned, beyond condition, a love. A love that is so great, it is beyond my articulation. It is beyond anything I could describe to you, and yet every one of you knows it in your heart. That right where you are being surrounded. You are embraced, you are filled. You are being showered and bathed by the presence of love. Love, love, and only love. Only love, love only. It is surrounding you, it is filling you, it is love that is breathing your very breath, it is love that is beating your heart. It is love that is connecting you to the person that is sitting to your right and the person that is sitting to your left. It is a presence that is unifying us all right here in this circle, in this beloved community. I'm so grateful to know that this is my nature, it is my true nature, it is my essence. My essence is love, infinite, unending, unconditional, limitless, boundless love. This is my nature. There is a flow, and it is allowing my nature to be everywhere present as it is yours. That within you right now is a limitless capacity, infinite potentiality. There are no limits to your life. You are boundless, you are free. There is no diagnosis, there is no challenge, there is nothing that anyone can say to you, about you, that can touch your essence. Your essence is whole, perfect, complete, untouchable, undisturbable. You are truly a limitless being. There is no ceiling over you. There are no walls around your soul. Your soul is so great that your soul can touch the souls of the individuals around the other side of planet Earth. All those who are live streaming, our souls are touching, our souls are meeting, our souls are connecting. And so I know the grandeur of your soul. I know that your soul has come here to make a contribution. And so as you connect with that contribution, what I know is that you also have everything you need within you to allow that contribution to be fully and absolutely, totally expressed. And so as I know this for each one of us here, I know this for all of this North Hollywood community, that this community has everything that it needs to not only sustain itself, maintain itself, but to rise and to sail and to soar, so that individuals all around this planet are able to tune in and tap in and receive from the amazing consciousness here of Reverend Sid, Dr. Sid, Reverend Skip, Suzi Lula, and the entire team here. I know that this community is here for a reason, to feed and to nourish and to nurture. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to know that we are each and all leaving here fulfilled, soul satisfied, overflowing from the inside out. And I am grateful, and so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you all. Thank you, guys.